Okay, I start off by priming my eyelids using this Rimmel London, what is this? Rimmel London Match Perfection Concealer. I just got this concealer and I thought I wanted to give it a try for this look. I also used this brush. It's a concealer brush that I got through Sephora. And I just use that to start priming my eyelids. I go into this insanely large palette. It's an 88 Color Palette Neutral Eyeshadow from bhcosmetics. I got this a while ago and I just decided to play with it a little bit. I only used a few colors, so I started off with the top row. It's kind of like a peachy color and I thought this would be perfect to put in my crease. I'm mainly focusing this shade into my crease. I don't want to add any to my lid, so I am just blending till I am satisfied with the look. I am using the Spectrum A08 brush to use this to blend into my crease. I really like this brush to always just start off with. I will list all the brushes and all the products that I use for this tutorial down below. So moving on, I do end up using this Eco Tools brush. I've had this for so long that the label just smeared off. But anyways, I use this tip to go into this deep mustardy brown shade, and I'm basically just packing that right on top of the shade that I just built. I'm not putting this anywhere on my lid, just same on the... I thought these two shades blended together would match with the lid shade that I use next. So I am just building that and blending that as well. I next use the Spectrum A18 brush and I go ahead and use the palette and dip into this bright yellow color and I apply that all over my lid under the crease and I am just packing that away. I do take a little bit of time. I just wanted to make sure I had a smooth surface going on, so you can just see me right now just doing that to both of my lids. I then go back into my A08 brush and I just blend that out so I don't have any harsh lines. I then use the Spectrum A16 brush. It is just a round flat dimension brush and I use that to apply ColourPop Telepathy. I no longer use the palette. I think this would be a great topping and I just place that over the lid over that yellow. I thought the yellow bottom shade was just to help to give it a little oomph, and now basically the ColourPop is just like icing on the cake. I just thought of... Next I use ColourPop Elixir. I'm not quite sure if I'm saying that right, oh wells, but I use the tool Eco Tools smudge brush to just apply this into my crease. I wanted my lid to pop as best as I could and I thought this color would help accomplish that. I ended up using the Maybelline New York Unstoppable eyeliner in Sapphire. You don't have to use this specific color for your bottom. You can match, you can use pink, you can use green, you can use any type of color that you want. This is just the color that was different and that I had available to me. Today was actually a very bad snowy day. It was just white and gray and I wanted to walk out and about very just colorful. So moving on, I then use this Spectrum C06 brush. I thought I also showed the ColourPop shade next that I used for this part, but apparently I didn't. I do apologize, but I am using the ColourPop Midnight and I am just applying this to my corners, well, my outer corners, to give this a simple, good dimension. I use the Spectrum B06 brush to just blend all the colors that I have on my eye so far. I wanted to make sure that I have no sharp edges and that everything is just blended in together and just looks like one solid look. Well, I lied at the beginning. I suck. I did end up going back into the palette because most of the colors that I used through ColourPop had a little bit of a shine, so I did wanted to go back using this one dark shade of gray to just darken my corners a little bit. I did reuse the Eco Tools smudge brush to just apply that. I'm sorry for sounding so jittery and smacking a little bit. I had some coffee, well actually a couple cups, and I'm not used to it. I've been off of it for a while, so I'm a little bit like antsy right now. But all I'm doing is just going back into the double end tip brush that has no brand, no name, no description on it, and I'm just blending that all up. Moving on to my face, I am using the L'Oreal Magic Lumi primer. I love this primer. It gives just a nice glow. And I am just applying that with my hands. Then I go into the Naked Skin by Urban Decay. It is Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Makeup Foundation. And then I go ahead and use the Spectrum A02 brush just to blend it all in. I then go in with a beauty blender, but I skip that. I then go back to my Match Perfection concealer to apply all throughout my And then I take my beauty blender to just blend that all out. By the end of the day, I notice more crease, more cakiness to the concealer itself, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm probably just gonna stick with the Fit Me until I find my next winner chicken dinner concealer. I go into my usual routine with my contouring using the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit from light to medium, along with using my Spectrum A04 brush to lighten up my T-zone section, and I also use my regular Spectrum A01 brush to just dab into the center shade to just add some color to my face, along with using the Real Techniques brush, and I just use that to just sharpen my jaw and to sharpen my cheekbones. I wanted to have a contour with this look. I always think it's easier to use the big brush to just hurry and add the color all throughout my face, and then I go into that Real Techniques to just sharpen the look, and then I go back into a different big brush, which is actually technically the Spectrum C04 brush to blend it all out, which is what I'm doing right now. Using the same C04, I use this to apply my blush. I am using the brand Flower. I got this at my local drugstore. This shade is called Flower Pots. I thought this was a pretty just soft rose, and I just smile and apply this. The blush had a lot of pigmentation on it, so it's why you see me just blowing hardcore on it. I didn't want to have a high intense blush color. Using the A01 brush again, I am just blending that out. For my highlighter, I use the L'Oreal True Match Lumi, and I also use the Spectrum A10 brush. Well, technically, I don't even think this is a brush. I would say fan, and I'm just highlighting all my features that I want to glow. I decided to contour my nose a little bit, so I used my Spectrum A06 and my contour kit just to sharpen it up a little bit. I always been a little self-conscious about my nose, so I just decided to do it today. And then I use my Spectrum A04 to just blend it out. I chose Maybelline 420 Deepest Cherry for a lipstick. I thought this lipstick color was beautiful with the eye look. I'm not a whole lot used to applying lipstick, just with how my lips get with the weather here in town. It's just so random, and so my lips go from dry to moisturized to plump to dry to mid. It's just all over the place, so I'm not a huge lipstick person, so I'm not quite the pro at it yet. Moving on, I am using the L'Oreal Infallible Setting Spray. I have purchased this nearly probably about 5 times. This is my favorite drugstore setting spray. I've tried others, but this is just my basically ride or die setting spray at the moment. For my high end, well, to mid high end, I usually go with the Urban Decay All Nighter, but I ran out, so this is just what I have. I am using my typical regular mascara, and yeah, this is the look that I have. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in my next tutorial. Thank you. Bye.